A Baltimore police officer is suspended and is also facing an investigation after he accidentally filmed himself planting drugs, or at least it appears that he's planting drugs. The investigation will determine whether or not he did so intentionally. So I want to show you guys the video very quickly. There's no sound, but you can kind of pay attention to him going to the scene of where he alleged to have found the drugs. So he walks away from the scene. This is after he planted the drugs. It was a baggie full of pills that had heroin.
Now he's turning it off.
Now he's turning it off.
On or something, yeah.
No, now he thinks he's turning it on.
Yeah.
So he didn't realize the camera was already on when he planted the drugs. Now he's going back to the scene where he planted the drugs to pretend like he found it.
Not here. No, not there. Where is it?
At least he takes a little bit of time to pretend like he, doesn't know where the drugs are.
He's done this before.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's rehearsed this.
And there it is. Bag of drugs.
So those were capsules that were filled with heroin. And luckily, he did get caught, and it's because of his own negligence. He didn't realize that he was filming himself planting the drugs. The public defender's office identified the officer handling the drugs in the video as Richard Pinheiro and complained that he was a witness in dozens of other active cases. And that's really, something that should concern everyone, because there are a number of other cases where he claims to have, found contraband or found drugs or illicit things. And so these cases are now really going to be brought to question because of, his lack of credibility here.
And it hurts police work that's being done on the streets every day, right? And just as police violence hurts all the good cops. And in this particular instance, one officer's been suspended, 2 officers have been placed on administrative duty while they look at this. But boy, it's pretty clear what's going on here.
Right, so the 2 cops that were placed on administrative duty were the cops who were present as this was happening. And so if they were complicit in what happened, I think they should be suspended as well. I mean, that means that they're totally okay with this type. You are planting drugs, which will potentially ruin the life of an innocent person, right? And just so incredibly stupid, so stupid. And so, yeah, look, I hope that the investigation, tries to get to the bottom of what's going on. But the lawyer who's representing him is trying to make the case that maybe he didn't plant drugs. Maybe he was just trying to show, police work in action, like what it was like when he discovered that. What? That's not even a good defense, but I don't know. We'll see. They're going to do the investigation and
They're throwing up everything against the wall and see what sticks for sure when they come up with that one.
Right.
So this tactic is age old, as I assume everyone would know. Comedians talk about it in joking ways, like, oh, the police dropped some drugs on us, oh, sprinkle some crack on them, as Dave Chappelle said years ago. And it was just ha funny, but it's been happening for so long. And then people are supposed to be pacified by, oh, we're gonna give body cameras and an accountability. And after we do that, police are we're gonna see everything that they're really doing. And as we see, even in manipulating the body camera footage, you then go, I think I turned it off. So the way, I don't know if you explained it fully, the way it works with, he thought it was off.
Yes, he did.
Because he turned it off, but there's apparently a 30-second buffer where it records what happened 30 seconds before, or keeps a loop. So when you turn it back on, it still kept the 30 seconds previous. So it kept what he did. I don't know why there's buttons on the body cam footage that's supposed to make sure that there's accountability if they can just turn it off and on.
Agreed.
With every other case, they go, oh, our dash camera's off, our body camera's off, but someone ended up dead. I don't know how it happened.
Look,
This is how it happens.
I agree with you. I agree look, I agree that when you give them the ability to turn them on and off, like, of course you're gonna have instances of abuse. But someone actually, a columnist, brought up a really, really great point about body cameras. And I think the reason why it's important to have that feature is because let's say a woman has just, or anyone has just been sexually assaulted or abused in any way, and they don't want to be on camera, right? They call the cops and they feel uncomfortable being on camera. And so I think having that option is important and it's good, but I think that there should be heavy scrutiny when there's a cop-related shooting of an unarmed person, and oh, what a coinky dink! The dash camera wasn't working, or the dash cam wasn't working, and my body cam wasn't working either. I mean, that seems very
suspicious. Feeling better about this. I remember what happened on this show. Jank and I were talking about how, okay, well, at least there's gonna be this accountability. I feel better. People who know how these things happen know that we weren't gonna feel better about this. It's just there's too much evidence and too much previous bad intent that's built up for people to believe that it's not gonna happen the way we're seeing it happen. But even after we see it happen, we're still gonna go, well, it was just him. What about the other two cops standing there? Didn't look very startling to them. Sure. You didn't see one of their hand gestures go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop,
like, dude,
that didn't happen.
Whoa, yeah.
The dozens of other cases he's been on, how many other cops have watched this? It's no such thing as a couple of bad apples. I'm gonna just put it out there. For them to keep seeing this happen and go, oh, well, it's just body cam footage. He can turn it off and on. Why give him that option? It's disgusting.
I am also tortured by the sexual abuse part of the body cam situation, but having said that, and I'll get to maybe a solution for that in a second, I think it's got to be on all the time. And by the way, it could be an innocent thing, that they forget to turn the body cam on. I mean, so it's not always that they're up to something nefarious. And I'm wondering, in the case of a sexual abuse situation, where they can call in, quickly, the way you get they can get a warrant over the phone or over the radio really quickly, and they could get some kind of special approval to turn the camera off. I think that's the category that has to fall into. It's too valuable, I think, and I know, JR, that it's going on all the time, but this body cam does represent at least a chance to keep cops honest, and also to help cops out in situations where they say, no, the guy was charging at me, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I know. I think, if you are a cop with good intentions, and there are plenty of them out there, I mean, having that evidence on you to prove that you didn't do anything nefarious is important. So, but I do really quickly want to touch on what you said, JR, because again, I totally agree with you. It's not just the cop that was planning the drugs. It was also the two cops with him who were just totally okay with what was going on. They are on administrative leave or whatever, right? Or administrative duty. They haven't even been suspended. And so that kind of sends the message that they're probably not gonna face any serious consequences for this, and I think they should. You're messing with innocent people's lives, especially in this crazy culture where drug use is criminalized and we have these insane draconian, sentences for drug abusers. Like, it's insane. And even
if you look at it as, well, they're not an innocent person. They're they planted this to tag another guy who was a known drug dealer. I get it, but tag him with the stuff that is actual evidence against him.
Do real investigative work and catch him doing something illegal. I mean, the case, by the way, this was totally counterproductive because the case has been completely dropped against the person that they're planting the evidence against, and it should be.
Right.
It should be. You can't plant evidence.
Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.